Hey there, Goa fans. Mark, DJ Solitaire here with episode 26 of Retro Goa Explorations, my series in which I present tracks from the 1990s Goa Trance psychedelic dance movement. And we are now in the 95 to 96 season, per se, more like the academic year starting in September. Beginning my second year in the scene in Japan at the time. And I am going to present today another track that I remember hearing Olli play at that full moon party that I mentioned in the previous episode. And this one, it's not because of the recording that I know that he played it. This one I actually recognized because I had gotten my hands on the CD that featured this recording just a week or so, it might have been even less than a week before this event. And it's a track on the second tip compilation, the orange compilation, because of the orange face, not the green that's all around it. I always thought it was a green comp. And this is Intellect by Psychaos. Jyoti Sidhu, the mastermind behind Psychaos, always presents some truly fascinating components in his music. There's always some of the same hallmarks, even though the flavors of each track are different. There's always some syncopation, something that varies from the 1, 2, 3, 4 beat. It's always got some mystical harmonies, very good use of spoken samples to really stimulate the right response here and here. And just always a groove, right? And this interesting blend of emotions. It'll be uplifting and introspective and groovy and mysterious and all this kind of complex blends of emotions. And I think this is one of the reasons why this particular style of music is, at the very least for me, and I think it might be one of the hooks for others, is so appealing because the human experience is quite complex, and we do have more than just one emotion at a time, and quite often they can seem to be contradictory, and a lot of life can seem to be contradictory. And so having these, it's something that's uplifting but also introspective and mysterious. There are qualities that don't always necessarily correlate, and yet in this music they can, and in this one they certainly do. Now I remember having listened to the CD several times before that event. I recognized a few of the tracks that Olli played from here, and one of the things that I recognized, however, is that there was no spoken sample when Olli played it. There's 2 different spoken samples in this track, and there was neither. And years later, I got a copy of a track on DAT. It was a Psychaos track, which was musically exactly the same without the samples. And it was called Syncon, Syncon. So likely an early version of the track. And then, later on with a spoken sample put in and then released on tip. This predates, by the way, Jyoti's first single, the They Tried to Grab Me and Science Fiction single on Blue Room. That would come out in December 95. And this one is October. At the very least, it landed in Japan in early October 95. So how about I just get the music on and we start listening to this brilliant track, Intellect by Psychaos. Love this sort of undulating sound, which also has a voice-like quality, and also it's got a rhythm to it. Then, and something that's also syncopated and very simple but deep. Now it gets doubled, and then the kick comes in and it's on the beat more. It's interesting, the relationship with the beat shifts. It's this repeated pattern that sort of has this almost like this Morse code, or sort of these beams or these waves going out and pulsing out into space. And It can sound very different at home. Can sound a bit flat. On a big system, this will sound really quite different. And then gorgeous harmonies here.
Meddling intellect shapes the beauteous forms of things. My mind is a tangled knot I can no longer untie.
From this state of mind, I think a lot of people listening to this music might feel. And now we get this riff is just a gorgeous one. It has a bit of a cyber rock kind of quality. It builds up, and now it's louder, much more in the foreground, right? So it was almost like it was coming forward and making its appearance. Now that previous voice that had been happening simultaneously pulled out, we just have our cyber rock riff. I love this sound, it sounds almost like a guitar, but not quite. Nice little note change here. Beautifully accented and rhythmic syncopation, and then gorgeous. Really catches you with this kind of now it's this, now it's that kind of feeling, this sort of call and answer quality that we've heard in other tracks. There's that rhythmic element here, and this should be a break here. And we have really like this pulsar. Yeah, and the way every 8 bars, 16 bars, something happens, just amazing. There's these natural, no need for these full breaks, just because of how things drop out and then come back in. It's just so organically done. So there's one more cycle here. You can feel the tension building up. Then
are these the sounds of a music that comes to us across the vastness of space?
Yeah, there's just all this craziness after that amazing sample. That's exactly how you feel when you're dancing outdoors, looking at Mount Fuji and under the stars. And just really this like electro thunderbolt sort of cyclical quality. Like there's this loop where it feels simultaneously trapped and expansive, just the way all these notes relate to each other. And then it breaks free, comes back to this pattern. Like the way the kick dropped out there. Again, that kind of call and answer. And notice how the upper notes sort of are highlighted more. And now we have that one of those earlier voices still murmuring in the background. Beautiful pause, let you catch your breath, and then
Meddling intellect shapes the beauteous forms of
drum build up.
my mind is a tangled knot I can no longer untie.
I mean, all of these riffs, it's just so catchy, right? They're singable, hummable, so they really have a great hook. Again, back to our call and answer. Now we're at the climax here with how this riff goes. non-stop drive to it. Exactly as our intellect might go at this stage of the track. The last round. A bit higher there. Beautiful voicing to it. Notice what rhythmic elements remain on this riff. There's several of those layers again intersecting beautifully. And then we're going to get left with a sample on just a little bit of background noise.
Our meddling intellect shapes the beauteous forms of things. My mind is a tangled knot I can no longer untie.
Impeccable engineering with that fade out, that echo and fade out. Absolute mastery by the master Jyoti Sidhu. As I named, so much going on, just like we've seen with a lot of these classic tracks, right? All these riffs that work together really well, and then they show up in different combinations, and different variations can show up later as well. And as I was naming, that complex blend of emotions, those intervals, a lot of minor thirds here as well, and then sort of that moving up and down in that call and answer form. So not quite a modulation, but the melody just sort of shifting over a little bit, just adding a bit of complexity and a bit more tension. And just the loop, in a sense, like it's just the way the riffs really nab you. It's a little bit like think about the track that would come out just a couple of months later, They Tried to Grab Me. That was Jyoti's first single on Blue Room with Science Fiction, and all great titles, all with this sort of otherworldly existential kind of feeling. So there we go. Beautiful, beautiful track. I will sign off and then present the track so you can listen to it and its wonderful intricacies without me talking over it. I am Mark, DJ Solitaire, and I leave you now with the unfiltered Intellect by Psychaos.
Meddling intellect shapes the beauteous forms of things. My mind is a tangled knot I can no longer untie.